Happy Super Bowl Sunday. This is a national holiday to me. In America, I think this is a national holiday. But that's not what I'm talking about. Here to talk about the dogs, and that's why you're clicking on this video. I want to debunk a prediction that someone from 24/7 made about the quarterbacks for Georgia. He made a bunch of bold preseason, like way too far ahead predictions about some different players in some different teams in college football. And I'm reading through it, and I get to the part where he has a prediction about Georgia, and I think it's a really bizarre prediction. It's bold, it's out there. I understand what he's trying to do. I understand sometimes we're grasping for straws in the off season for content, and maybe that's why I'm making this video. But it's not the point. The point is his prediction is interesting. He says Georgia starts 3 quarterbacks, still finishes 12-0. Really weird one to me, and something that I thought about for a little bit. Well, is that possible? But usually if you're starting 3 quarterbacks in a season, there's an issue. All right, we don't often see that that's something great, right? Ohio State didn't want to start 3 quarterbacks in 2014 when they won the national championship. They had to start 3 quarterbacks. Winning the national championship was a survival type thing almost for them, and it was improbable. And they did it, and they had Ezekiel Elliott, who was a freak. But it doesn't happen very often where that's like a positive thing. Look at the 49ers this year. That's kind of like what was going to happen there with Trey Lance and Jimmy, Brock Purdy, Josh Johnson. Usually it's not good. I mean, someone got hurt, someone's underperforming, the team's underperforming. So predicting that they go 12-0 is maybe just because the cupcake schedule, quote unquote. They still have to go through their normal SEC East schedule plus Ole Miss and Auburn. So, Georgia's schedule is not necessarily a cupcake. It's easier than the last 2 years. I'm not denying that at all. It's certainly easier. But to say that they finish 12-0 and start 3 quarterbacks is bizarre to me, because if Georgia's starting 3 quarterbacks this year, there's an issue, all right? Because that is not how this goes. It's not how this goes. Ryan Curley, I fumble my own name. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here, talking about Georgia's quarterback situation, and I'm always debunking some theories and some predictions people put out there on the internet, right? I feel like it's my job to do that. Make sure you're checking out DOWGS, our insider book, and look on the 2022 National Championship run. Perfect season for the Dogs, back-to-back, double dogs. That's where the name comes from. And I know it is annoying to hear it all the time. Go check out DOWGS, and I read the comments most of the time, but there are new viewers every day, and we have to plug. It's business, guys, so I'm sorry if it's annoying, but I just wanted to say that. So Stetson's gone, right? It's probably going to be Carson Beck as a starter. It's my prediction. He was the second string all year. He looked good in the moments that he got to play in the game. I thought he played well, more so than he didn't play well. Obviously, he didn't play anything super significant, but the man's throwing not touchdowns, but he's throwing passes in national championship games. He's gotten real experience as a quarterback. I expect it to be just move up. Everybody move up one order, right? There's a reason it was like that last year. Carson is got 3 years in the program done, 3 years with Todd Monken. Now, if he stays, that's really important for everybody. And so I think it'll be Carson Beck. And I think Carson's going to play well, which means I think he's going to start every game, right? So that kind of ends that whole 3 quarterback start thing. If Carson, I have serious doubt that the program just starts Brock, or if Carson's the starter, so this is hypothetical. If Carson's the starter, I have serious doubt that the program just starts Brock or Gunner, against Vanderbilt or ULM or whoever. Why? That's not how it works, right? There's a depth chart and there's a way that things flow. They're not just going to give everyone a chance to start. That doesn't happen very often. And when that happens, there's an issue. That means there isn't a clear guy, right? And that's a problem more than people realize. Auburn, 2016, right? I think Sean White, Jeremy Johnson, whoever it was. When you are not sure of the guy and multiple guys are playing, that's usually an issue. There are very few situations where you have 2 legitimate dudes, right? Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts, both NFL starting quarterbacks. One's playing today in the Super Bowl, starting quarterback. It doesn't happen very often. With Georgia, it's been an interesting ride with Kirby and the quarterbacks. Obviously, you talk about Eason, Fromm, Fields. That was never a quarterback room all at the same time, but Georgia was good and Fromm started, right? The only reason why Eason started that one year, why Eason and Fromm started, was because there was an injury. That's not a positive thing. 2020, Georgia's a good example. Starting DeJuan and Stetson and JT later coming and helping them, which was important. He was the best quarterback for Georgia in 2020. It wasn't close. But when Stetson and DeJuan, when you're going back and forth, then you're not sure. That's a problem. Georgia was drowning in the quarterback position that year. Jamie Newman, Stetson Bennett, DeJuan Mathis, Carson Beck was a true freshman. JT Daniels, it was a complicated situation, and they didn't have a true starter. And, obviously this is pre-Stetson being Stetson Bennett that we know today, but it's not a good thing. If you have three guys starting, it's not usually a good thing. Is it possible? Is this prediction a possibility? Yes, because Georgia is better than every team on their schedule, and that's the only reason I'm going to say that. The only reason I'm going to say that Brad Crawford's prediction of Georgia starts 3 quarterbacks, still finishes 12-0, is because they're better than everybody they will play this season. So, yes, Gunnar, I think, could win them a game. Brock, I think, can win them a game. Carson, I think, can win them a game. But them all 3 starting at some point, that's tough. I think that's probably a bad thing, right? So this is not a prediction I think you should root for if you're a Georgia fan. You should root for the 12-0 part, but wanting all 3 of them to start at some point, that means there's uncertainty within the quarterback room most of the time. So I don't think that's a great thing to root for. My opinion, take it or leave it. Who's winning the Super Bowl? I got the Chiefs. Root for Patrick Mahomes. I'm sick of this Philly stuff, honestly. But let me know down below what you think about the prediction. Make sure you're checking out Double Dogs, and make sure you're clicking all the links down below and hitting up our socials. Thank you for watching.